Guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. So today's video is going to be a 3 looks 1 palette video using the NYX Ultimate Brights palette. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes. I used to use this a lot, and I actually just recently discovered that I had it. It's just great for a drugstore price. It has so many fun colors in it, and it's just one of the best, to be honest. I love it. And I have gotten quite a few requests lately to do more looks with this palette. So I'm going to be doing 3 looks like I said. So this is going to be the first one, the pink with some orange and yellow, and then this blue and purple with some glitter and white liner, and then the green lid with some orange in the crease. So these are the 3 looks I'm going to be doing. If you want to know how to do these, then let's just get into it. So starting out with look 1, this is the one with pink all over the lid with some hints of orange and yellow. So we're first going to start out with this bright orange up in the top row here, taking this on a Smith 230 blending brush. And I'm just going to blend this into the crease using mostly windshield wiper motions, but some circular motions as well. And I'm also just extending that just past the very edge of my eye, just slightly. So now to brighten up the top of the crease, I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow, and I first took it on a bigger blending brush. This is the Smith 232, but then I realized that it dispersed the yellow too much. So I went in with a smaller blending brush and I just concentrated this at the very top of that orange shade that we already put in the crease, because I wanted it to be like an orange to a yellow gradient. And I am focusing this mostly on the inner portion of the crease, like right under the beginning of my brow. So moving on, we're going to move on to the lid color, and I'm starting with this pink right here. I'm taking this on a little packing brush by Ofra Cosmetics, and originally I was going to put this all over the lid, but then I decided to do kind of a halo eye type thing with a different color later. So I'm packing this onto the inner portion of the lid and then the outer portion, and I'm leaving that middle blank. So now I'm going to go back into this other pink, which is pretty similar to the last one, but it is a little bit brighter. So I wanted to put this in the very center of the lid to just add like a pop of a brighter color right there. First went in with the brush, and then I realized that if I applied it with my finger, it made it a little bit more pigmented and just bright and colorful. So I blended those together with my finger and then went back in with a brush just to kind of slightly blend it into the crease. So now taking a Cosette S185, this is a tiny little blending brush. This is great for blending product into the crease when you don't want it to be blended up too high. So that's what I'm doing with that pink there. Just blending it into the lower portion of the crease, trying not to blend too much over the orange. And to bring back part of that orange that I blended over, I'm just going to go back in with a little bit of that on that bigger Smith blending brush and just blend right over the top. So going back in with that yellow, I felt like a little bit of that got blended away, so I'm just taking a little bit more of that and focusing it once again in the very inner portion of the crease. I'm not blending it all the way across because I wanted most of the yellow to be like right underneath the front of my brow. So now moving on to the lower lash line, we're going to go back in with that darker pink, and I'm just blending this all the way across the lower lash line, making sure that it blends in with the pink on the upper lid. Actually, just kidding, I'm stopping it halfway. We're not blending it all the way across. So I'm taking that Cosette brush again, and there's nothing really left on it. I'm just using this to blend out that pink, and then going back in with that bright orange again, and this is what we're going to finish off the lower lash line with. So I'm just blending this from where the pink left off to the inner corner. So none of the colors in this eyeshadow palette work as an inner corner highlight for me, so what I like to do is I take my NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. This is in the color Milk, it's just a plain white. I like to take a little bit on my pinky and apply it to the inner corner as a base, and this is going to make any eyeshadow look brighter and lighter on top of it. So for the inner corner highlight for this look, I'm just going to go in with the yellow on a little kind of dense blending brush, just going to lightly pack this on top of the base. And then I decided to do some winged liner with this, but I didn't want it to be too thick because I didn't want to cover too much of the pink. And then we're applying some mascara and some lashes. These are the House of Lashes Iconics. Alright guys, so that is it for the first look. This one is probably the easiest of the bunch, and I don't know, I just really like this look. The pinks in this palette are amazing, just so you know. Anyways, moving on to look number 2. This is slightly more difficult, but this one was inspired by Laura Brady MUA on Instagram. I just loved the glitter in the crease and the white liner. I'm just using some slightly different colors, so I'm going in with this medium purple on a blending brush. Just gonna blend this into the crease like we did with the orange in the previous look. And then over the top of that, we're going to apply this lighter purple, and I'm actually just blending this on the very top of that crease like we did with the yellow in the previous look. I just wanted there to be like a dark purple to light purple effect in the crease. Now moving on to the lid, I'm taking this darkest purple and I'm taking it on a kind of dense blending brush, and I actually had some problems with this purple. I'd never used it before, but it's kind of patchy. It doesn't look as good as it does in the pan. It's pretty dry and hard to work with, so I had to layer this up quite a bit and it still didn't look great, but I tried to work with it to make it look good. I was switching between different brushes to see which brush applied it the best, but ultimately I decided to go back in with that little blending brush. And I'm just also taking this makeup wipe and cleaning up the edges to make it nice and sharp. This shadow is just a pain to work with, you guys, but that's okay. Anyways, just taking that Cosette brush and blending a little bit more of that dark purple halfway across the crease. So now going in with that NYX Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil again, I'm going to take this on a lip brush by Smith Cosmetics, and I'm just going to kind of cut the crease with this, but I'm just going halfway across the lid, so I'm not doing anything too dramatic. I just wanted to apply this over the portion of the lid that doesn't have anything on it yet, so I'm just kind of meeting that over with that dark purple and trying to blend the base in with that purple. So on top of that white base, we're going to put some brighter colors, so I'm going in with this light blue, which is probably my favorite color in the palette, and I'm just packing this onto the inner third or so of the lid. I'm not covering the entire white portion because I'm going to put a darker blue in the center, and for that blue I'm going to use the one right next to the one that we just used. It's kind of like a darker teal. I'm taking this on a tiny little packing brush by Thrive Cosmetics, and I'm just blending this in between the purple and the light blue in the inner corner. This one was also a little bit hard to work with, but it definitely wasn't as bad as that purple. You just kind of have to spend some more time blending it out. But I would definitely say in this palette, the warm colors are the best quality. I don't know why. For me, they just worked a lot better. So for the glitter, we're just going to go in with Marilyn Monroe, and this is by Lit Cosmetics. This is like the perfect true silver, and I'm applying this with the Lit Cosmetics glitter adhesive, which is my favorite glitter glue. Taking a tiny little brush, and I'm just applying this. Well, I tried to go like slightly above my crease on the inner portion of my crease, but I have deep set eyes, and if you have hooded eyes, this is going to be kind of tricky for you too. When you look down and then you look straight, when you have deep set or hooded eyes, you can just hide whatever you put into the crease. I know you guys know what I'm talking about if you have to deal with that like I do. But anyways, I'm just applying this glitter into the first half of that crease just for like a fun little accent, and it just looks really cool when it catches the light. So moving on to the liner, I'm actually going to be using some white liquid liner. This is also by NYX. If you guys haven't worked with this before, it can be kind of tricky because it's not very opaque, so you have to layer it up a little bit, but if you layer it too much, then it can start to like crumble and crack. So you have to be careful. I wouldn't suggest putting more than like 2 layers on, but that should be all you need. Then just applying some quick mascara and some more natural looking lashes. I don't remember the names of these, but they're similar to the Ardell Wispies. And then I'm moving on to the lower lash line, so I'm taking that middle purple that we first put in the crease, the very first one we used, and I'm just blending this across the entire lower lash line. Then going back in with the lighter purple, and I'm going to take that on the Cosette brush, and I'm just going to blend this out so it's not so much of like a harsh dark purple. I'm just going to blend out the lower portion of that. And then going back in once again with the dark purple, taking this on a tiny little brush, and I'm just going to apply this right up near the lower lashes, only blending this over like halfway across the lower lash line. So now once again going back in with that milk pencil and applying a little bit with my finger into the inner corner as a base for the highlight. And for the highlight, I'm just taking that same blue that we used in the very inner corner of the lid, and I'm just taking a tiny bit of that on a fluffy brush so it's not like super pigmented. I'm just dusting that over the inner corner base. Alright guys, that is it for look number 2. This one was definitely out of my comfort zone because I never really wear like blues or cool toned purples. I feel like they look weird on me, but it was fun to do. Anyways, let's move on to the third one. This is going to be the gradient green lid with the orange in the crease, which is my personal favorite. Anyways, starting with the yellow this time, we're going to take this on a small blending brush by Smith, and I'm just going to blend this across the crease just like we did in the previous 2 looks. But I also am just kind of like making sure that I do this type of S motion, as you can see that I'm doing right now, because that's the shape that the lid shadow is going to be in. And then also taking this darker orange on the Cosette S185 brush, and I'm just following the curve and the shape of that yellow that we put in the crease, but I'm not blending this up as far. And then just going back in with a tad bit more yellow because I felt like a little bit of that got blended away. So we're going to cut the entire crease, and I'm using Tarte Shape Tape. You can use the Milk Jumbo Pencil if you want the lid colors to be a little bit more bright. But anyways, I'm just using a little Smith brush to cut the crease, going all the way up to the base of the orange that we put there. And then I'm also mapping out a wing. This shadow is going to be in the shape of like a wing out there, so you want to make sure that the entire shape is going to be cut out. And then I'm going in with this lightest green in the palette. I'm taking that on a little lip brush by Smith. And I'm just packing this over the concealer that we put down. And I'm just focusing this mainly in the inner like half of the lid because we're going to be putting the darker green on later. And you want to make sure to use small, tight detail brushes with this because you don't want any of that green to overlap onto the orange. So using more detailed brushes is going to make sure that it doesn't get messy. Now going back in just for a second with this lighter yellow, and I'm just going to take this into the very inner corner because I wanted it to be a little bit brighter in there. I wanted it to be like light green to medium green to dark green on the lid. Speaking of dark green, just going to go into this guy in the lower left corner, and I'm just going to fill out the rest of that lid. So we're going to first map out the wing shape. This is a really good brush for this because it's super tight and like very thin, so you can do really detailed work if you need to. And then I'm also just blending this into the medium green. So last but not least, some mascara and some lashes. You guys know the drill by now. And then we are moving on to the lower lash line. So I'm taking this bright orange and also mixing it with the other one. And I'm taking this on that small little packer brush by Thrive Cosmetics, and I'm blending this all the way across the lower lash line, also making sure to blend it underneath the wing of the green so it connects to the orange in the upper crease. Then to brighten it up a little bit, I'm taking some yellow on the Real Techniques shading brush and just blending out the lower portion of this lash line. And then, once again, NYX Milk Jumbo Pencil in the inner corner and taking that yellow again because I felt like that was the best choice for the inner corner for this look. Alright guys, so that is it for the third look, and that concludes this video. I really hope you guys liked it. I like doing these 3-in-1 tutorial videos. I really do like this palette, like I said. I 100% recommend it. I think you guys would really like it too if you haven't tried it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!